This is James Gunn's last time directing a Marvel film. So did he leave Guardians in a good place to go forward with, or did he burn down a building on his way to the DCU? Come to find out. Welcome to Cine Here, where you come for all of your media needs. My name is Ray, and today I am reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, directed by James Gunn, starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Palm Lamentieff, Vin Diesel voicing Groot, and Bradley Cooper voicing Rocket. Now, with this third and last installment of the Guardians that we know it, we are now here where we can see what did James Gunn leave us with, because we all know James Gunn made all three Guardians films. We know that Marvel initially kicked him out, and with Dave Bautista and others in protest to bring him back, they brought him back for this last film. And I am happy that they brought James Gunn back, because in my opinion, he is the reason why the Guardians are such a beloved movie franchise. It is fair to say that Chris Pratt was born to play Star-Lord. It is fair to say that Drax and Gamora, all of these characters were all played amazing by the actors and actresses that took part in this film. I do want to say that before I say anything else about this film. One of my biggest criticisms with the Guardians franchise, specifically the second film, was that it was way too funny. And I was hoping that in this film, we got a little less funny and a lot more story, because the first movie was a great balance. And I think the second movie, they turned the funny way too high. So I was hoping that they dialed it back and that they gave us a cohesive story that actually was done well. And they did. They finally brought it all together and gave us a good story. Also has to be noted that the visuals in this film were also done well. I don't know if anybody has been paying any attention, but this last phase of Marvel have not been delivering the highest quality visuals, and this film did. Everything looked good. So that has to be praised, because if you've been watching any of the films, you know that the quality has took a little of a nosedive. I'm sorry, I have to be the one to admit it. If I have to be the villain, I will, but I have to admit that it has taken a nosedive, but this film looked good. The cinematography looked good. The acting in this film, just like in most Marvel films, have been decent to good. So they continue that in this film as well. The biggest 2 points in this film was to really flesh out Rocket's character and give the backstory of him to let us know where he came from, because there's always been a mystery in all of these three films. The second main point was to give a great conclusion to Star-Lord, the rest of the Guardians, but also his relationship with Gamora. And I think they closed out both those things well. I think we learned a lot about Rocket, and we learned a lot about what the future is of the Guardians of the Galaxy film. The film was not very action-packed, but the action that we did get was solid. We got to see everybody show why they are a part of the team. Everybody got a little bit of shine in the biggest fight sequence in the film. The other fights were small and not big enough, and that's probably my biggest gripe. For this to be a superhero film, I just would like a lot more pop. You know, I want a lot more pizzazz, bang, you know, all the stuff that you've seen Batman do in those old Batman cartoons and films. Like, I wanted a lot more of that in this film. When I see superhero films, I want that. I want a lot of action, and I want it to be grand. And then the third film, this is the culmination of it all. This is supposed to be the grandest of action. We got a few scenes here and there, but nothing on the scale that I would have liked to seen in the third film. And Njoku Awuzie graced us with his talent, playing the big bad in this film, the High Evolutionary. And I think that he was menacing. I think that he gave the Guardians something worth going out for and trying to save Rocket's life in this film. And he gave us all of the tension necessary to make this film work. We all know the Guardians films have some of the best scores in all of the Marvel films, and this film did not disappoint in that aspect either. They delivered a lot of 90s and 2000s and 80s hits. They were all across the board with their musical decisions in this film, and that is one thing that also has to be commended. With that being said, I would have to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 a 7.8 out of 10. I do believe that this is the second best Guardians film out of the trio. I think it is a lot better than the second one, and I think it is a notch below the first one. But I will definitely say this is something that should be watched. And if we can get more films like this and better from Marvel going forward in this phase, that would be appreciated, because a lot of their films lately have not been worth it. If you enjoyed this review, make sure that you give it a like. If you want to see more of my content, make sure that you subscribe and follow my page so that you can see a lot more of my reviews and other content that I have to offer. But it does not end here. Make sure that you jump in those comments so we can have conversations about this film, other Marvel films, and also what you are looking forward to from Marvel in the future. And don't forget, you seen it here.